everyone, I'm Frank Mallicoat. I'm a reporter anchor for KTVU Fox 2 here in the San Francisco Bay Area. My guest today is the CTO of Critical Start. It's a cybersecurity firm in the Dallas area, here to talk about Black Friday and Cyber Monday and how to protect yourself as we all shop away from home. Let's say hi to Randy Wadkins. Good morning, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, Frank. Thanks for having me on.
Good to have you. I know a lot of folks are poised after that big Thanksgiving meal to jump on their computers and their phone and start shopping away, but it's also a bit of a Super Bowl for cyber criminals as well. Isn't that right?
Yeah, anytime there's a new opportunity for an attacker to reach out to consumers, it's always a good opportunity, right? And the big difference with this year's shopping season versus last year's shopping season is two things. One, everything is now geared towards online sales. And two, they've extended the sales to be, 2 or 3 weeks before Thanksgiving and 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. So it's essentially made it a longer attack surface for these attackers to approach consumers.
And a lot of that has to do with COVID because we're all cooped up in our homes. We're all working from homes, and retailers are hurting because of COVID. So they're no dummies. They're saying, let's get this stuff out there right now. I mean, we had maybe 4 Black Fridays, I think, in the month of October. They really have been out early, haven't they?
Yeah, the deals have been coming hard and heavy, and it's definitely something that the attackers take note of, and they look to capitalize on it in any way they can.
What is cardinal rule number 1 to be safe if you're out buying things on the internet?
Yeah, rule number 1, and this has been pushed out by all major retailers: never give your credit card information over email, phone, or text. Right? That is not something they're going to reach out to you for. And attackers know that there's a sense of urgency behind a lot of these deals, and they're going to try to capitalize on that to get consumers to, maybe go against their better judgment and maybe enter in their information where they wouldn't typically do it. So number 1 rule: never enter in that information to email, text, or phone. If you have to provide your payment information, go directly to that retailer's website and do it there.
Obviously, a very good idea. How about emails? What kind of terminology should we be, kind of saying, maybe not, because you're doorbusters, deal of the century. I mean, they're throwing all this glitz and glamour at you, and sometimes you just kind of get cooped up in all of it.
Unfortunately, attackers are really good at mimicking exactly what's going on in real life. So there is no real big keywords or buzzwords that's going to distinguish a malicious email from a legitimate email. The thing to look for and the thing to kind of keep in mind: if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Yeah. Right? I mean, you're not going to get that $5,000 TV for $500. More than likely, that's a scam website, and they're just trying to get a username and password, or they're trying to get payment information.
And web address is important because some of these can be off a letter or whatever, and it looks like Best Buy, but it's not, right?
Yeah, we call that typo squatting. So essentially what they're banking on is one of two things. One, either the consumer's going to potentially fat finger a web address or mistype it just a little bit, or they're attempting to redirect you to a website and they want it to look close enough to the legitimate website that you will enter in your username and password or your credit card information. So the real way to kind of look at that is if you hover over links, you can get it's called a link preview. And that's essentially the address that you're about to go to if you click the link. And you can also right click on that and say copy link, paste it into Word, and then you can look at, okay, what are the individual letters if you're skeptical about the email.
How about QR codes? They're pretty popular now. Can they get you there too?
Absolutely. So QR codes are really just a graphic that you scan, and it takes you to a predetermined destination. And that destination is determined by whoever generates the QR code. That means restaurants can use this to redirect you to their menu. Retailers can use this to redirect you to their sales, and attackers can use it to redirect you to maybe a spam web page, maybe a malicious software download site, right? So if you go to a retail location and they have QR codes posted up, ask one of the employees, say, hey, are these legitimate QR codes that I'm seeing, before you scan those? Maybe they do lead you to the sales circular. Maybe they're illegitimate and an attacker walked around and pasted them up around the store.
Good point. I know skimming, sometimes you go to a gas station, they can put a device on it you're getting your gas, but someone's getting all your information too. Is that popular right now on scanning systems, not only at say a gas station, but at a retailer as well?
Not so much, and that's good news, right? The reason they're so popular at gas stations is because all of those credit card readers are unattended, right? When you're in a retail setting, a lot of times you have a clerk standing right there, and it'd be a little bit difficult to try and jimmy in that skimmer.
Right.
So not the biggest threat to look out for, but as you're going around filling up your car with gas, I mean, this is also a travel holiday and people are driving. Do make sure to grab a hold of those things and wiggle them on ATM machines or on gas pumps. Just check and see if there's anything maybe sticking out of it a little bit. And if you see something, do report it to either the bank if it's an ATM or report it to the gas station if it's a pump.
Good point. Good point. How about social media? I know I'm getting lots of deals thrown in to my Facebook and Instagram, the whole shebang. Are they looking there as well? I'm sure they are.
Oh, absolutely. And that's dangerous for two reasons. One, they always seem to know exactly what you want to purchase, so they advertise that.
Yeah.
And two, they always have amazing deals that are too good to be true and they cause you to click on them. But again, danger there is multifold. One, it could be a link to a malicious download. Two, they could be trying to mimic another more well-known retailer and get your username and password. Or three, they're going to go ahead and let you order that item. They'll cancel your order, but now they have your credit card information. So, and this all goes right back to rule number one. Don't shop off of the links to the retail sites. Go directly to that retailer site if you want to buy something from their location.
I've phishing emails that come in occasionally. You're dumb and you go, oh, boom, and you go on, and then you realize this is not legit. Are you okay initially if you go on to the email? You have to click something, don't you? Or once you're in, you're in.
It depends. Sometimes clicking that link is enough. So we always recommend that you have an antivirus loaded onto your computer, that you have, kind of the industry best practice settings loaded on, which Windows tries to do by default. You use a secure browser that's fully patched. You apply the Windows patches. That way, if you do click on something that leads to a malicious download, you don't immediately get infected, or maybe you can prevent the infection. If you click on something that is more of a scam website, and it's just trying to get your credit card information, you click the X, no harm, no foul. If you follow through with it, do contact your bank pretty quickly, right? Take a look at your credit card statement, look and see if there's anything that looks fraudulent or different. A lot of times these credit card providers, they will have analytics built in to look at your purchase history, look at your purchase patterns, and attempt to identify something that could be anomalous or fraudulent. And most of the time, they'll notify you before you recognize it yourself, but an extra set of eyes to help them out certainly doesn't hurt.
It doesn't. That leads to my next question. If you are scammed, if you've given them a credit card or your social security number or whatever the case may be, what do you do? What's the first thing you do?
Reach out to the bank. So contact your bank. They will reissue you a credit or a debit card. If it's a credit card, a lot of times they can stop payment on that purchase. If it's a debit card, then they may have to go through a refund process. But most banks have protections built in place for credit and debit cards. Always reach out to your bank and ask. I'm not giving financial advice, but typically there are more protections available through credit cards. If you give up your social security number, I always recommend this as just a general best practice. Call the 3 big credit bureaus and lock your credit score. That way, even if you do give up your social security number, nothing can be run against your credit score unless you purposely unlock it. And the credit providers, the credit score providers will notify you if somebody tries to make an inquiry.
And Randy, can you give our viewers just a little inside baseball on how big the dark web, these people that go in and fish, how big an industry this is?
I mean, it's massive, and it's spawned actual business organizations out of it. People make livings and they make companies out of scamming consumers. So it's not, really hardcore hackers. A lot of people like to think of the guy with the hoodie pulled up over their head. It's often not that guy, right? These are not terribly complicated hacks that we're talking about. A lot of times this is just convincing somebody to give you information, and all of that, the tools that you need to do that are available freely online. So it could be a nation state sponsored attack. It could be a criminal organization. It could also just be a bored high schooler that thinks he's getting away with a couple $1,000s in a credit card number. So it is very broad spread. It's very easy to pull off.
Tell us about Critical Start and what you do.
Yeah, Critical Start is the leading provider of managed detection and response services. That means we're working with a lot of these organizations, a lot of these businesses, a lot of these retailers to make sure that their infrastructures don't get hacked the same way we're looking out for consumers, right? So we are looking at all of the data going into these large organizations. It generates alerts whenever they see something that could be malicious. Those alerts come to our 24/7 security operations center, where we resolve the alerts and stop these breaches before your data gets out.
And if people want to get in touch with Critical Start or you, Randy, how do they do it?
They can reach us at criticalstart.com. There's a contact us form, and we'd love to talk.
All right, Critical Start. He's the CTO. That is Randy Wadkins with some great advice if you decide to do a little Christmas shopping, holiday shopping over the next 4 or 5 days, or any day for that fact. Randy, want to thank you very much for joining us here on Fox.
Thanks, Frank. Happy holidays.
You as well. I'm Frank Mallicoat. If you'd like more information, you can also go to newsnowfox.com. Have a great day, everybody.